Well, it's been a muggy Wednesday morning, that's for sure. Still lots of low clouds in place across southeast Texas on our Roofing 911 Skycam network, sponsored by Mid-County Plumbing. Of course, we had the fog this morning. The good news is tonight the winds pick up. That should really help with our fog situation, so we're not expecting what we've seen the last couple of mornings, that's for sure. There still could be some sea fog near the coast. It may work inland to Mid-County or so, but I just think there's going to be too much wind tonight to see what we've had lately. Roofing 911 Skycam network will start out up in the lakes area, up in Jasper. You're running in the 70-degree range. You'll be in the upper 70s. A little bit breezy at times area wide this afternoon. You have overcast conditions as well, and at the most this afternoon looks partly sunny. It's just lots of low-level moisture in there, pretty good inversion in the atmosphere, so a lot of low clouds still expected this afternoon. Up the lakes area, you started out well into the lower to mid-60s this morning. Down in Port Arthur, our Roofing 911 Skycam network, sponsored by Market Basket. Still lots of low clouds out there. As we said, we'll see a few peaks of sun this afternoon. There'll certainly be more clouds and sun, that's for sure, across southeast Texas. Kind of like yesterday afternoon. It was basically mostly cloudy in the afternoon yesterday. We're expecting the same thing again this afternoon. A little bit breezy, winds out of the southwest, 5 to 12 this afternoon. Tonight the winds will pick up. That'll help us on our fog situations. That's certainly some good news there. And of course, we had highs yesterday in the 70s. We'll be in the upper 70s for highs today through Friday. So we got 3 more warm days, and that's about it. See a few breaks in that low clouds over in Orange, and our Roofing 911 Skycam network there, sponsored by the Horseman's Western Store. A few breaks in the clouds. So becoming partly sunny to mostly cloudy this afternoon. No rain expected, just a slight chance coming up tomorrow. And even tomorrow, it's only 10 to 20% at best. Certainly don't see much in the way of a coverage tomorrow across southeast Texas. Now that will increase to a 40, maybe 50% coverage late Friday night as the next cold front comes in and cools us down quite a bit for the weekend and into next week. Starting to see a few breaks in that low cloud deck. This is visible satellite. Starting to see the breaks in the clouds, especially just north of the interstate. We're running anywhere from the upper 60s in the lakes to low 70s in the triangle. Once again, we'll top out in the upper 70s this afternoon. Very warm, muggy afternoon coming up, and with southwest winds. Like I said, once again, the winds will pick up tonight, so we're not expecting near the fog that we've seen. Certainly not going to see any ground fog or radiation fog that we've seen, that's for sure. Across the rest of the state, skies are partly to mostly cloudy as well. Warm front well to the north. Lots of high clouds across West Texas, New Mexico, Panhandle, Oklahoma. Nothing as far as rainfall or any thunderstorm activity anywhere across the region expected today or tonight, and pretty much tomorrow as well over our area. Not expecting hardly anything at all, but we will have a chance of a few showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two coming up late Friday night. Looks like after midnight as the next cold front works in from the northwest. Now, speaking of winds, this afternoon a little bit breezy, not too bad. Tonight, the winds start picking up in speed off the Gulf. That'll help us on our fall. Now, there still could be some radiation or sea fog down along the coast, but I think farther inland we'll be in much better shape than what we were the last couple of mornings. But notice these wind gusts tomorrow out of the south. Could see some gusts up to 35 in a few spots. We saw this a couple of times last week as well. A couple of very windy days ahead of a cold front. That'll be the case coming up again tomorrow as well. So a windy, warm, humid Thursday coming up, that's for sure, with that 10 to 20% coverage of a few light showers coming up for tomorrow. But overall, the windy forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Winds will come down a little bit, but even tomorrow night, it's going to be breezy tomorrow night into Friday as well. 24-hour temperature change. We're actually a couple of degrees, which is about what we expected for today, with it being a little warmer this morning. We're running some 2 to 3 degrees warmer now than we were this time yesterday. A little bit cooler though up in the lakes area. You're running around 3 or 4 degrees cooler than 24 hours ago. Rest of the area pretty static across the region compared to where we were 24 hours ago. And temperatures, like I said, they're not going to change much. Tonight, very warm, mid to upper 60s for lows, and once again tomorrow, close to 80 for highs. All right, let's take a look at futurecast for this afternoon. Temperatures will begin to warm into the mid 70s and then eventually some upper 70s, a few breaks in the clouds. We also have a few high clouds streaking across as well. So basically partly sunny to mostly cloudy this afternoon. Tomorrow morning, not warm at all. Southerly flow off the Gulf. Pretty breezy night coming up, as we said. A couple of sprinkles here and there tomorrow, but not a big deal. We'll give it a 10 to 20% coverage. Showers tomorrow, certainly nothing heavy expected tomorrow. Most areas won't see a drop, and south winds. And by tomorrow evening, we're down into the lower 70s with winds continuing off the Gulf. A little bit of rainfall to talk about with the front Friday night. Now, it's certainly not going to end the drought. Not going to help us much either, but hey, we'll take what we can get. Tomorrow throughout the day, just trace amounts here and there. And then Friday night, maybe a third to a half an inch in some isolated spots. I think the best coverages and the best rainfall totals will be off to our east. That always seems to be the case, especially from south central Louisiana northeastward. Could be some half to 1 inch totals over there, but as far as the lakes area, southeast Texas, quarter of an inch, maybe to a half. Number one, I don't think every location sees rain with a front, number one. Number two, even if you do see the rain, probably a thin little line coming through late Friday night. You're not going to see a whole lot, probably a half an inch or less, and a few spots across the region. Then the forecast looks dry as we head into the weekend on into next week. But as we talked about, it will be a lot cooler, which we'll show you that on the 7-day coming up in just a moment. Speaking of cooler weather, of course, the front comes in Friday night late, probably around after midnight, close to that hour. Saturday will be cool. I think probably highs only in the 50s Saturday. And then by Sunday morning, when you wake up, upper 30s lakes to around 40 in the triangles. Pretty cold there Sunday morning. No freeze is expected, by the way. I think we'll have too many high clouds next week. We'll talk about that, show you that in just a moment. But a chilly start for your Sunday. Highs only stand in the 50s at best coming up for Sunday into Monday of next week. Lows in the 30s to low 40s, highs in the 50s. So much cooler weather. So if you like the warm weather you've got now through Friday before it turns a lot cooler coming up over the weekend, that's for sure. But as I said, no freeze expected. Your forecast, right now we're still overcast, but it will become partly sunny to mostly cloudy this afternoon. Highs in the upper 70s, southwest winds 5 to 10. Could see some gusts to 12. So very warm, humid afternoon, that's for sure. Tonight, mostly cloudy, much less fog. I think there's just going to be too much wind for fog. Now, there could be some sea fog near the coast. Lows in the low to mid 60s lakes, mid to upper 60s in the triangle. Temperatures may actually be a little bit warmer than this tonight because it looks breezy tonight. We could see some gusts over 15 overnight tonight. I'm thinking 66, maybe 67 for a low tonight with that wind staying up. Of course, we'll update that on the 4 o'clock show later on this afternoon. And as we head into your next 7 days, this afternoon, upper 70s, lots of clouds, few peaks of sun. Tonight, breezy to windy, windy tomorrow, maybe a 10 to 20% coverage of showers. Not expecting much tomorrow at all. 40 to 50% coverage at best. Friday night as the front comes in, no severe weather is expected. All that will be off to our northeast. No severe weather is expected. 50% coverage of showers, maybe a thunderstorm or two late Friday night, midnight to about 2 a.m. But notice the weekend into next week, we still keep the high clouds around. The low-level moisture begins to scour out. But highs will be in the 50s, lows will be in the 30s